Another weekend has come and gone, and with it, another U.S. presidential nomination contest. I'm Carl Azus. Thanks for watching CNN 10. Like the state of Nevada, South Carolina decided not to hold a Republican nominating contest this year. All the GOP delegates in those states are expected to be set aside for the incumbent Republican president, Donald Trump. But South Carolina did hold a Democratic primary on Saturday, and former Vice President Joe Biden won his first victory. He got just over 48% of the vote. U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders from Vermont won about 20%, and they were the only two candidates awarded delegates from this state. That's really what these races are all about. Whoever wins a majority of a party's delegates in these primaries and caucuses is likely to become that party's nominee for president. After South Carolina, Senator Sanders leads overall with 56 delegates. Former Vice President Biden is in second place with 51. Former South Bend, Indiana Mayor Pete Buttigieg was in third place. U.S. Senator Elizabeth Warren from Massachusetts and U.S. Senator Amy Klobuchar from Minnesota rounded out the top five. But last night, Buttigieg became one of the two Democrats who suspended their campaigns after the South Carolina primary. This means they're no longer in the race. The other is former investment manager Tom Steyer, who did not win any delegates in South Carolina despite his third place finish there. So there are now 6 Democrats still in the race, and tomorrow's a big day in the nomination process. It's called Super Tuesday because 14 states and 1 U.S. territory are all holding contests at the same time. Most of them will be for Democrats and Republicans, and they could really help establish a Democratic frontrunner or two, while President Trump is all but certain to win for Republicans. 10-second trivia. In terms of sales, which of these U.S. retailers is biggest? Costco, Amazon, Kroger, or Walmart? Despite Amazon's growth, Walmart does more than 3 times Amazon's sales every year. In U.S. business news, it can be easy to focus on store closures going on around the country. Family Dollar, Fred's, GNC, and Sears each closed hundreds of shops last year, but Aldi, Dollar General, and Five Below opened dozens or hundreds of stores of their own. It's becoming clear that online sales and physical store sales are not always inversely proportional.
America now browses with browsers, window shopping with Windows.
Web watchers say more merchandise is available in cyber shops than ever before.
A lot of major retailers are coming to the web in a big way.
It's a story that almost doesn't need an introduction. The explosive growth of online shopping and the death of brick-and-mortar stores. America's vibrant consumerism of yesterday went digital.
The internet's biggest draw, convenience.
And so in 2019, when more than 9,300 retail stores closed, many feared that a retail apocalypse was in full swing.
Some experts call it a retail apocalypse. 2019 marked one of the worst years in a decade for brick-and-mortar stores.
Those store closures marked a nearly 60% uptick from the previous year. Concerning? Yes. But if you look a little closer, you'll see a few names that dominate the list. Payless alone accounted for about a quarter of the closures after it filed for bankruptcy. Other bankrupt retailers like Sears, Fred's, Gymboree, and Charlotte Russe also fill the list.
There's a certain amount of mismanagement going on that's caused the so-called retail apocalypse, oftentimes because of a leveraged buyout, some kind of private equity situation that saddled them with a lot of debt.
The important thing is that the pie is growing. Retail sales are increasing. The reality of the matter is that almost 90% of retail sales occur in a store.
The problem with the retail apocalypse narrative is it assumes online shopping is bad for brick-and-mortar stores. As online shopping grows, in-store shrinks. In reality, the two can be complementary. While it used to be that customers' entire shopping experience happened in-store, today it's more of a hybrid, in-store and online. For example, roughly 2/3 of consumers say they've researched a product online before shopping for it in-store. The flip side is also true.
These are online retailers. When they open a physical store, the online sales also increase. So the physical store acts as marketing for the website.
Consumers are also taking advantage of other hybrid options, like ordering online and then picking up in-store. When given the option, more than 70% of consumers say they've tried in-store pickup. For companies like Target, that type of same-day pickup and delivery alone drove 80% of the company's growth in the third quarter of 2019.
It's actually getting difficult to even measure what is an online sale versus what is an in-store sale. I think we're actually going to get to the point where we have to get away from this notion that there are even two separate things.
It's not just the Targets and Walmarts of retail that are taking advantage of brick-and-mortar stores. Once online-only companies like Warby Parker, Everlane, Casper, Allbirds, Zappos, and even Amazon have seen the advantage of opening physical stores.
There are now 1,700 stores that have been opened by these digitally native brands.
Many of them said, we're never going to open stores. We just want to sell online. And now they are. They're opening stores because it's the cheapest and easiest way for them to acquire new customers and increase their market share.
As consumers, we still want to touch and try stuff on in store before buying it. Get an item fast without paying for shipping and expedite returns. Conveniences we can't get online.
So we have this idea that everything's shifting online, and to a certain extent it is, but the physical stores are still vastly important.
And you're seeing a fundamental change, in the role of the store. It's happening slowly, but the store isn't just about transactions anymore. It's about creating customer engagement and brand building and fulfillment. The store of tomorrow is going to look and feel a lot different than the store of yesterday.
So maybe the term apocalypse is getting thrown around a bit too much. A better term? Evolution. As our shopping habits evolve, brick and mortar stores may just be as important as ever.
Vertical farming, growing crops indoors, often without soil, is not a new way to cultivate food. It's been around since the early 1900s, though its popularity is growing, get it? Critics have a number of concerns about its high cost of setting up, its dependence on technology and electricity, and there's debate over whether it can be called organic. When it works,
Square Roots is our urban farming company. Each one of these shipping containers, we have our young farmers farm them, and they'll generate upwards of 3 to 5 acres of the equivalent product you can grow outdoors. We started in Brooklyn, in a tougher part of Brooklyn, in fact, Jay-Z's old neighborhood where he grew up. And what we've done is we've put a campus of small farms on a parking lot. We use 10 times less water, and we're able to give the plants exactly the nutrients they need. We're also located right by the grocery stores, and so there's virtually no transportation costs. At Square Roots, we focus on basil, mint, chives, herbs. It makes a lot of sense for our technology today. And then over time, it'll really be every vegetable you can imagine. It's important for us to design something that could work on Mars, with that in the back of our mind. But our primary goal is real food to cities across America to start, and then eventually the world, and then eventually other worlds.
On the New Jersey shore in the city of Margate, there's been an elephantine presence since 1881. First, what's known as Lucy the Elephant was a restaurant and hotel. Then it became a vacation home and eventually a National Historic Landmark. Now, as a way to raise awareness and money for Lucy's preservation, it'll be available once again as a hotel, an Airbnb rental for 3 nights only. The price, $138 a night in honor of Lucy's age. It opens the Margate to history buffs who will be very Victoria interested in Lucy's elephantastic pedigree. They'll be up to the task of telling her tale to anyone who will lend an ear when they trumpet their account of a really good trunk show. I'm Carl Azuz, and though I don't personally choose the schools we mention on CNN 10, I love shouting out places like the Memphis Academy of Science and Engineering. It's in Memphis, Tennessee, and folks there subscribed and left a comment on the most recent show on our YouTube channel.